Hello, Mr. Martino here, for your favorite teacher. Today we're going to continue our look at fractions, and we're going to be doing multiplying and dividing by fractions. So let's take a look at first multiplying by fractions. When we multiply by fractions, we need to multiply numerators together and the denominators together. So it's important that we remember that. We can multiply fractions by fractions, or we can also multiply whole numbers by fractions. So let's take a look at multiplying fractions by fractions. If I have 2/3 times 1/4, the way in which I will multiply these two is I multiply the numerators. So 2 times 1 is 2. I multiply the denominators. 3 times 4 is 12. So I get as my answer 2/12. However, I can simplify this. So my simplified answer is 1/6, because 2 can go into 2 and 2 can go into 12. Let's take a look at another example. We have 3/10 times 5/2, or 5/2. So I multiply the 3 times the 5. So that is 15 in my numerator. I multiply the 10 times the 2. That's 20 in my denominator. So my answer is 15/20. Once again, we can simplify this because 5 can go into both 15 and 20. So my simplified answer is 3/4. So you take a while and multiply these fractions out. You can pause the video before we go to the answers, and you should take no more than about 5 minutes. Okay, let's see what the answers are. So check your answers, make sure they're correct. If they are, we can move on. We can also multiply whole numbers by fractions. And let's see how we do this. When we multiply a whole number by a fraction, the only thing we multiply is the whole number by the numerator. So in this case, it's going to be 6 times 5. So 6 times 5 is 30. That becomes our new numerator. And we just keep the 2 there. So it's 30 divided by 2. And we can simplify that to be just 15. Let's take a look at another example. We have 8 times 2/3. Once again, we only multiply the whole number by the numerator. So that becomes 8 times 2 is 16. So it's going to be 16 divided by 3. We keep the denominator as it is. That cannot be simplified. So the answer is 16/3. So now you can take your turn at these. You can take 4 to 5 minutes and pause the video before we go to the answers. Okay, let's take a look at the answers now. So you can check your answers against those. And if you're ready, we can move on to now dividing by fractions. So when we divide by a fraction, we need to follow a few simple rules, and then we can actually do it quite easily. So the rules are, first of all, keep the number on the left of the divide sign the same. Change the sign to a multiply. Flip the fraction on the right upside down. And finally, multiply like normal. So if we follow these rules, we can always divide by fractions. Let's take a look at an example. So suppose we have 3/4 divided by a half. That becomes, if we use our rules, 3/4 times 2/1. Because if we look at what the rules are, the first thing is keep the number on the left the same, change the sign, flip the fraction, and then multiply those two fractions like normal. Okay, so let's do a few questions. You can try it on your own now. You can take about 7 minutes to do these. You can pause the video until you're finished. Okay, we're going to now look at the answers. So check your answers against those. And that's it for dividing and multiplying by fractions. This is Mr. Martino for your favorite teacher.